There are a lot of people in the world who suffer from different health conditions, but the most common ones are obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and their number is rapidly growing. But the medical experts also say that we all should be worried because there is a great possibility that by the year 2050, almost 15 million people will develop Alzheimer's disease. This woman, Mary T. Newport, who is a neonatal practitioner, has been researching through scientific literature about Alzheimer's disease for the last decade. She found that the MCTs, or the so-called medium-chain triglycerides, which are contained in the coconut oil in high amounts, might be the miracle cure for preventing and slowing down the progression of Alzheimer's. She did all that research for her husband Steve, who is 59 years old. Steve was diagnosed with progressive dementia 5 years ago, and according to the MRI magnetic resonance imaging scan, his disease was going to develop into Alzheimer's disease. Steve experienced major memory issues. Sometimes he couldn't find a spoon or get water out of the fridge. Steve also suffered from depression. Mary, in her research, found that depression can be the precursor for Alzheimer's. Why medium-chain triglycerides are so important? Did you know that human body cells use ketone bodies as fuel when there is a lack of glucose in your body? Our brain cells are the most picky cell in our entire body. This is because they are limited in what kind of fuel they use in order to keep themselves alive. Usually, brain cells use glucose, but they can use ketone bodies as well. Unfortunately, our organism doesn't contain any ketone bodies which can be useful for the brain cells to use as a fuel supply. What happens in Alzheimer's disease? Some brain cells in specific parts of our brain are not able and they can't use the glucose as fuel energy. This is because of insulin resistance, and these brain cells are starting to die very slowly. The duration of this process is maybe 10 or 20 years before there are any clear symptoms of the disease. And, as we mentioned before, if these brain cells use ketone bodies as a fuel source, they can survive and they will function properly. It's the same problem for people who suffer from Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, and ALS. In this condition, the patients suffer from the same problem, but the problem is in different parts of the brain and spinal cord. The medium-chain triglycerides, or MCT oil, is metabolized in a different way than other types of fats. Our liver converts medium-chain triglycerides into ketone bodies and further in energy. If you consume medium-chain triglycerides or MCT oil orally, it will lead to hyperketonemia. This means that the number of ketone bodies in our bloodstream will be increased, and these ketone bodies can be used by our brain cells in case of glucose deficiency. Dr. Mary Newport says that hyperketonemia results in a substantial 39% increase in cerebral blood flow, and appears to reduce cognitive dysfunction associated with systemic hypoglycemia in normal humans. Dr. Newport, in her study, found that coconut oil is about 60% medium-chain fatty acids, has 0% cholesterol, and is rich in omega-6 fatty acids. Palm kernel oil and human breast milk are also very good sources of medium-chain triglycerides, or MCT. Medium-chain triglycerides can also be found in cow and goat milk, but in small amounts. You can find it in dairy products as well. When her husband's Alzheimer's disease had advanced, Dr. Newport decided to try the coconut oil method. Dr. Mary Newport bought 100% virgin coconut oil and gave Steve 35 grams 2 tablespoons of coconut oil every day. She gave 2 tablespoons of coconut oil to her husband every day for 1 month, and the results were amazing. Dr. Mary Newport says that after about 2 weeks, and again at 37 days, after starting the coconut oil, she asked Steve to draw a clock. There was an obvious improvement. She also says that all the Alzheimer's patients in the world should try this homemade coconut oil therapy and see for themselves that this remedy actually works.